so I'm just gonna cheers to that, you know? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another video. It has been a minute since I last filmed. January and February were great this year. And then March happened and I didn't have a day off, so let's just pretend I haven't been gone for a month, okay? Okay. Today I thought I would do my March wrap-up. If you watched one of my last videos, which was my March TBR, I had a rather ambitious TBR that I kind of felt like I wasn't going to get through, and I was right. I didn't get through it. I did read a total of 11 books, so I feel like that was pretty good considering like my life was literal hell for the past 3 weeks. It was just very stressful. So today being my first day off, I figured I would film a few videos and drink the first beer I've had in weeks because I've been working 15-hour days. Let's just go ahead and get started. Book number 1 that I read was Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. This was the first book I read this month and I was a little disappointed. I gave it 3 stars. This, it was good, and the ending was enough of a cliffhanger that I already bought the second book and I'm totally going to read it this month. It was all world building and character building, so not a lot really happened. I've heard the series gets better, so I'm very excited to continue. I still have high hopes for the series as a whole. And I'm not going to let this 3-star book deter me from continuing on because, girl, I think it's going to get better. Book 1. And book number 2 I do not have a physical copy of because it was a comic issue, and it is Spell on Wheels number 1. I think I gave this book 5 stars because I really liked the premise. It was kind of like sassy witches. There was a lot of diversity in it. So if I remember correctly, it was 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it, and I kept going on with the series this month. You'll see those in the next few books. Book number 3 was Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This was my favorite book of the month. I gave it 5 stars. I would have given it 6 stars if that was an option. I'll be honest, I'm like a little confused that most of the reviews seem to say that Scythe was better. I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, but this one blew me away. This book was amazing. I loved the characters. I loved the world. The ending of this, like, shocked me, broke my heart, made me cry, made me giddy because I don't know what's going to happen in the next book. The favorite book of the month. Of the entire month. Probably the entire year, honestly. Book number 3 I do not have a physical copy of because it was Spell on Wheels issue number 2. I gave this one 4 stars. I felt like the start of the series was so strong, the characters were so strong, and the second issue kind of felt like a buddy comedy, which I guess it kind of is. I mean, for me it's hard for comics and issues to be memorable. All of the stories within this world kind of blend together, in my opinion. So I did enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the first issue. Next book I read was easily my most anticipated book of the year. Probably the book I have anticipated more than any other anticipated book I've had before. That was a mouthful. Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And I'm sorry, this cover is so shiny. That's like, whoo, girl. I obviously gave this 5 stars. I'm a huge fan of this series. I'm a huge fan of the characters and the character progressions throughout these stories. It never ceases to amaze me that in like 500 pages we see a huge transformation of these characters. In this one, we see the return of our 2 favorite couples from the previous 2 books and our favorite psychopath, sassy, artificial intelligence, Aiden. I mean, again, it's exactly like everything you know and love from the first few books. And I can't rave enough about this series. I'm so incredibly sad it's over. This was such an amazing ride, and I just honestly feel honored that I was like here to read them as they came out. I am definitely going to read these all in rapid succession because I think I would get more from the stories if I read them back to back now that they're all out. The next book I read was probably the most disappointing book I've read in a while, which is pretty sad because I had high hopes, but it is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I can't even sum my disappointment up adequately. This was a 1-star book for me. I don't even remember the last time I read a book that I thought was worthy of the 1-star rating. I felt like the book's a little over 300 pages and there are 3 main plot points we go through. Those plot points felt so drawn out, but also too rushed to even build upon. The pacing as a whole was not great. There was a really weird chapter that was kind of trying to be socially aware about race issues, but it never came up at any other point in the book, so it was just awkward. It wasn't for me. It just was not for me. Ugh. Next book I read, I do not have a physical copy of, but it was the Darth Vader comic series from 2015. I know there are 2 of them. I think this is the 2015 one. I felt like this was a pretty good build upon the Star Wars world. I really like Darth Vader as a villain. I think he's very complex and interesting. I gave it 4 stars, and my only note was that it was adequate, so it was a good little side story to the Star Wars universe, so I enjoyed that. The next book I read, it was Darth Vader and Son, and I saw this book at Disneyland and I thought, that is so cute, I'm gonna pick that up. It was adorable and it was hilarious. I took some notes on my favorite quotes because I thought they were so cute. I find your lack of patience disturbing. This isn't the toy you're looking for. It was just so cute. It made me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. So I gave that 5 stars because it was just adorable and it's a great book for kids. If your kids are like going into the Star Wars universe, you should read it to them. And even if it's you and you're an adult and you grew up with Star Wars, give it a read. It's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. The next book I read was Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. Wasn't expecting much from this. I've always been slightly interested in it because it sounded like a good mystery, but I think I've discussed in previous videos how I'm a little reluctant to go into adult fiction of any kind because sometimes I just feel like right over my head. I surprisingly really enjoyed this one. I flew through this in a few days, and this is no small book, okay? Surprisingly gave this 5 stars. It's probably closer to like a 4.25, 4.5, but I was pretty blown away by this and just the realness of the characters in it. I thought it was really good. The next book I read, I also do not have a physical copy of, and that is Spell on Wheels, issue number 3. Now, I liked this one, I think, more than the second one. Kind of on par with the first one, but I still gave it 4 stars, again, just because it's really hard for comics to blow me away. But it's like 35 pages to develop a fluent plot. It's hard. And I really enjoyed this one more than the second one, though. So I think the series is progressively getting better, and I'm gonna hopefully finish it this month, but I don't like to pick up comics unless I'm feeling it, otherwise it just feels like a chore to me. Final book I read, it's embarrassing how long it's taken me to read this. It's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by J.K. Rowling. So this is the screenplay version. I have not seen the movie. I know, we're all very embarrassed on my behalf, trust me. I flew through this, I think in like 24 hours, because again, I worked a lot. I probably could have finished this in one sitting. The art in the book is so pretty. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. And can we just... Oh, it's so cute. I gave this 5 stars just because it felt so like going home, you know? Just like that comfort you get in a familiar world, in a familiar setting. It honestly made me forget about the blemish on Harry Potter that was the cursed child, but like we don't talk about that here, right? So anyways, guys, those were all of the books I read in the month of March. I am pretty proud of myself because even though I didn't read everything I wanted to read, I still read 11 books, and considering how much I was working, that's something to be proud of, okay? So I'm just gonna cheers to that, you know? Oh yeah, there we go. So that is all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what was your favorite read this month, and what is your favorite graphic novel and or comic series? I would love to know any recommendations you guys have. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys! Gotta do it for the screen grab, you know?
I hear a